Sure. Introduce yourself and your channel for those that, I don't know who doesn't, but who doesn't know El Buffalo?
I don't know. Somebody out there doesn't know me. But thanks for having me on. I'm by far not the 360 guru expert. I'll just take you through my process of how I do it. I've always tried to do things as simple as possible. So in order to show you 360 editing, I'm going to show you my whole process of how I put a video together. So hopefully you'll get something out of that as well. So just let me know when you're ready to kick it off.
Okay. Oh, we appreciate it. Your movie was awesome.
El Buffalo, the floor is yours.
All right. Yeah, definitely. Movies is the right description. Does a great job.
Yes.
Getting, we feel unworthy up here doing our stuff. But all right, here's my process. You can see I got my separate deal here, and I create folders for all my videos. I'll give you a quick example of everything that's in it. That would be for one video. That's all the clips, photos, the converted 360 footage, the GoPro 8 footage, maybe some cell phone footage, my intros, my outros, and any music I'm using. So that's just to get it to the point where I'm going to start putting a video together. So just kind of give you an idea of the hot mess it is. But for this purposes, I created a demo, and this is what we'll be dealing with. This is the 360 footage. This is the 360 footage already converted. I did that for time's sake. This is some GoPro 8 footage, intro, outros, and some relive tracks that Dad's provided for me. So the first thing I would do is you're going to have a ton of 360 footage that you're going to have to go through, and you may only land up using 3-4 minutes of that footage, which is why I don't like editing in the actual or editing 360 footage in an actual like if Premiere Pro allowed me to edit 360, I wouldn't do it because it's just too much. So I do all this as prep. So I'd get this footage here. It'll automatically take me to GoPro's editing program, GoPro Player. Here's the footage. This is the 360 footage that we'll be editing. I'm not going to teach you how to do editing on their deal, but basically this is the only button that matters in most cases. So what I would normally do, it's been a while for this footage. This is actually some footage from Iron Mountain Road that we're going to use for this demo. So basically you can just start running it. You click on this little bad boy right here, and it'll give you a little spot. It's a waypoint where you can start changing the footage that you want. And then you click on it, and then and usually I do it on the run like this and kind of click that. And basically all these little points are the changes that I'm making on the footage. If I want to hold that, it'll hold that.
Now, are those what they call keyframes, where it's or I guess that's a term for it, where it's like giving it spots, exactly. Telling it where to turn and when to keep staying in one spot?
Yeah, so like here, you can go through and you can pause it and just be like, okay, I want to adjust my screen a little bit. Hit that, keep going, and this. What I like about the 360 footage is I can give you kind of the feel of what's going on. I can flip around. Some guys on my ass there. Here's one of the pigtails. And that's kind of it's kind of the flow you do. And then once you have all these, you can, what's nice about this is if I don't like this, and that's why, again, I like doing it here as opposed to on the actual editing software that I'm going to produce the video on, because I can trash all this. I can delete this. I can delete.
Buffalo, on the, as you're doing this, on the Insta360 cameras, you can zoom in or zoom out from the screen, and you can either, it kind of flattens it out more or gives the fisheye look. And you have that option too on this if you wanted to make it more flat.
Yeah, basically just the wheel on my dial, on my mouse. So you can go ahead and keep going. I can do that stuff that makes everybody seasick.
Oh, that's it's still a cool effect though.
Yeah. is a cool effect. And I'm just simply doing that with the mouse and the dial on the mouse.
Nice.
And that's really it. And then there may be a ton of footage that I don't necessarily want or need or care to get. I always like getting the twisty turnies. That's always what seems everybody likes to see.
For sure. I love Iron Mountain Road. That's Sonny's favorite road. Am I right,
and then
Sonny?
you can do lens corrections from here and change and get that whole world thing going. Set it to 0 and you kind of leave it alone. And then you just kind of keep going through the video. Remember Des? Remember those guys? Remember Des? Des was in front on this video, so and that's basically the way you do it. And then you can, like I said, you can completely just go all the way back to the beginning and kind of review it. And there's transitions in this as well that we'll do. You'll see that as we get closer to these, the transitions are kind of wonky. Here, transition will be coming up right here. As it spins. So what you do in that case is you kind of go in between them right here. Grab that little bad boy. Right there. These are the transitions. So you got to get in between them and click on the transitions. So you can do a linear, which is basically just kind of holds the camera steady and turns. I usually do a ease in and ease out. So it's kind of, so I usually use this one, or you can just use a jump cut and it'll jump immediately to that. I'll give you an example. You can see the jump cut looks like. And it'll just kind of jump to the next one without any real, well, it's set to this, but there we go.
Now I want to point out, y'all, while he's doing this, just like with any camera you're using, just like with any software you're using, we all use, it's just like riding, slow speed maneuvers. Now, Buffalo did not start this as an expert, and any one of us will tell you that as smooth as he's operating here while walking us through this, he's always learning too, but it takes practice. So he's just jumping in and kicking ass with it and showing.
Yeah, and you can you can play with, absolutely, you can play with this thing, right? You can, like I said, you don't have to, keep anything you did. You can delete each one of these and start all over. and say, I don't like the way that looks. And again, all I'm doing is trying to get a vibe, a feel, if you will. Hard to explain. You know, I think people that put videos together and they're riding bikes and there's a certain vibe, certain feel you get, and those are kind of things that I always try to pick up on.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So
I think we all kind of have a, what you would
Yeah.
call it, you know, especially with Ryan with full throttle hog. We all kind of have a signature, you know, of the way we do things, and it's a style. It's the style. It's what you envision, what you see in your creation, and so that's what you're going through. I mean, all of us do that to some manner. Whether you're creating for people like Moto Ramblings does, or you know, you're trying to catch every single road in every single state park like Des. You know.
Yeah, there's certain things you want to pick up, right? Pigtail, whatever. And again, there's all this footage, and I may not use half of this footage. You know what I mean? It may be just, yeah, I just wanted to capture going through the tunnels, or I wanted to catch just the pigtail. And you know, these things download like any GoPro in little 12-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute segments. And they kind of go in sequential order. So, you know, when this thing ends, there's another one that captures something else.
So I do have a couple of questions if you feel like fielding them, Buffalo. One is,
Yeah.
OG Utter says, can you show how it looks bringing footage directly into Premiere without making edits in the GoPro player first? Is that something you're set up to do right now?
360 footage at Premiere won't even. It'll just film the raw footage at whatever. And the 360 footage, if you watch a 360 footage all by itself without doing anything, that camera tends to drift.
Yeah.
Let me pull this up again. Easier just to get out and get back in than try to delete all that stuff.
And so you'll understand this. That's the one thing, because I have a 360 One RS, and I can tell you, I can back up completely what El Buffalo is saying. When you pull in, first of all, you pulling in a 360 file, it's going to be at least twice, if not more, in file size than your regular GoPro. Instant, doesn't matter what the camera is. The 360 footage is usually going to be double, if not more, between double and triple the size of the normal footage. So you're talking massive file size right there, which is the need for a gaming style level computer. The other thing is, as you see what he's doing right now, you're doing that on any 360 camera. You've got the full thing there, and you're starting out by doing all these edit pieces before. It's just a piece of your overall video.
This is all prep, if you will, for 360. That's why most people don't like 360s, because
it doubles your time.
It adds this. This is an added step, as opposed to just dumping stuff into Premiere Pro and saying, start editing, start cutting, start cropping. This is all done ever before I get to Premiere Pro, and if there's enough footage in this thing, it could take a few hours.
Yeah.
But
so feel free to continue what you're doing, because what you're talking about here kind of steps into what Joe goes asking, what you're sharing with us here as you go. Any tips on speeding up the process? Because as you said, editing 360 footage adds quite a bit of time. So what are your tips that you have that you recommend while you're doing this that you've learned to streamline a little bit with?
It doesn't necessarily streamline it. I think the way we do it is that there's no shortcut to doing it. But when you're dealing with two different types of footage, let's say GoPro 8 and 360 footage, and you want to be able to sync those clips, right? You want you want so when GoPro downloads those files, they put them in like some sequential order. So I'll go through and kind of watch all the GoPro 8 footage and then name it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever.
Yeah.
Rename it so it's in sequential order of how the ride went. And then once I've watched this and edit it, I know exactly where I'm at in the sequence. So then I'll change this one to 1.1. So I know that the GoPro 8 footage is 1, the 360 converted footage is 1.1. So I know I can mesh those two videos when I'm editing and want to catch a certain, going into a turn and then get the GoPro 8 footage of me going into the turn, because that footage usually is on Mrs. Buffalo's bike on the back facing me, and then mine gets obviously everything else. So there's no, it's all in prep, right? So if I do all this ahead of time and then I'll do this and then I'll walk away from it, get all this done, and then come back the next day and then start putting the video together. I kind of know the vibe that I want to present to my subscribers. So then I'll go in and then go look for music that I feel kind of fits the ride or the feeling or whatever. I don't want to get all weird on you, but it's there's a vibe, you know what I mean? There's some thought put into when we put these videos together as content creators. We think about all that stuff. And it's funny because I'll be like, oh, that's cool looking, and that's all I'll remember of the whole video. And then somebody will comment like, oh, like the music, you know what I mean? And that's kind of the vibe I want to give most of the time is, kind of a music video vibe, as I've always described my videos as. But going back to what I was talking about earlier, if you just let this video run, that's what it does. It'll just be, it'll start drifting all by itself. And that's what you're gonna, if you're able to get footage into your editor, you're gonna be dealing with this, and there's no rhyme or reason or anything. Like here, I know I'm coming up to the pigtail, so I'm like, I need to capture that, right? So that's what I want.
How do you set, you may have covered this and I may have been typing, how do you set it so that it's that view and not going 360?
I'm just dragging my arrow with the mouse.
Okay.
And it goes wherever I do it.
It's going to remember
on a tab. Yeah, and I've seen the tablet thing done, and it you can move the tablet around. You could sit in your chair and spin around in your chair, and the GoPro or the 360 footage will do this thing with you,
Right.
But again, I'm just simply sitting here with my mouse, my clicker, and the little roller to zoom in, zoom out, spin it. You see, I'm just grabbing it with my mouse and spinning around. So and it could be, I could do all this, right? And it doesn't matter because it's going to capture how it needs to be.
Okay. All right. Now, full throttle hog X, how long on average does it take to grab the clips and import them to a project? That would depend on
if you got a fast computer, laptop, and you have an external driver, it doesn't take long. I can download, the GoPro footage from one ride and, in 15, 20 minutes, just depending how long the ride is, right? But it doesn't take real long. What takes long is going through it and usually they'll put it in the order, right? But it'll be like GoPro's like 87 851, and then you would think the next one's going to be 87 852. A lot of times the second one's 800 or 87 950. And it's just how they name them as they're downloading them. So you got to go through the footage and rename it. That's probably the tedious part. This part to me is the fun part. So because I get to rewrite it again, basically. So we're going through another
See, even
infamous pigtails.
Road Glide Andy X, if there was he X no direction lock.
Yeah, you can lock it. You can lock it over here. I usually just leave the horizon locked so that it's always kind of on an even, because if you unlock the horizon, or let me see if it'll unlock.
Got it.
While we're doing this, I posted the comments there. If you guys have a 360 camera, some of you already have, but if you have one, post in the comments what model and brand you have.
And I don't think the GoPro 360 is the best 360 out there.
Okay.
But it's the one I own.
Yeah.
That's
what matters.
And
it was reversed.
And when you're comfortable with using something, then you kind of tend to stick to it. If I got one of those new fancy ones they sell, it'd be a whole new learning curve. And most 360s have their own, GoPro player like this one has, so you convert your own stuff. See that the 360 is doing that all by itself. I ain't touching it. It's just simply.
Oh, really?
So sometimes it actually can work to your favor as far as your editing. Other times it's annoying.
Sometimes it'll catch you. Be like, oh, that's cool, and you kind of leave it alone. But basically, you got to do that with every video, every piece of footage. And again, I may only use this section of this entire video right here. I don't know if everybody can see my mouse, but
yeah,
but there's a lot of I turn the 360 on as soon as I start my ride, and I leave it on, just in case. You never know what you're going to catch. You never know what you're going to catch. You might catch a Bigfoot, may catch a UFO or something. You never know. So
and right now we're going to go take a picture by the sign.
We're going to go take a picture by the sign. Yeah.
And I'll tell you all this too, just for El Buffalo's, what he just mentioned is a very valid thing to bring up. I'm trying to get the memory card out real quick for mine.
What's that?
So just so y'all know, this is the memory card I put in my, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to try and make it focus specifically. I don't know if you can see what, I know I got a small, I'm on the small screen. Yeah. This is a.
No, because you have your screen behind you, green screen.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I felt prey to a Desism. No, so this is a 256 gigabyte
Des learned that last
card.
week or 2 weeks ago.
This is a 256 gigabyte SD card, and I do the exact same thing that El Buffalo is talking about, where I run the 360 like throughout the entire ride. I don't turn it off. I've run one like all day, and I have yet to fill up one of these in a single day of riding.
Yeah.
Right. It takes.
And I'll use an external battery pack.
Yep.
You may see it right there. So I have a battery pack right there that slides into my vent, and then it's plugged into my 360, which is right here somewhere. You can see the. Let's zoom in. You can see the cord
Oh, really?
right there.
Didn't even know that.
Yeah, so and you can see where 360 stitches
I
the
wasn't
video.
gonna do that. I didn't want to show my
You see
mess in the
that?
background. But
See that stitch right there,
Right.
that line?
yeah,
That's 360s. It's good to know where your camera has that stitch at,
yes.
and you try not to. So
And
I always face my camera like a normal camera, straight forward. So my stitch is running parallel to that. You know, you see some people, they have their camera turned, half counterclockwise or however, and then their stitch may be right here. If this makes any sense, but you can clearly see the stitch right there, and I try to keep those out of my videos as much as possible. So I won't even, we spin this way. You'll see it again right there.
I think he's saying important to note that that GoPro either has to be plugged in or run on battery. It can't be both ways.
Yeah, I don't even have GoPro batteries anymore. They've all gotten fat and destroyed, which is why I don't like GoPro. I've had one get so swollen that it was like it couldn't even come out of the GoPro. I had to get some pliers to get it out. So I've kind of just eliminated the whole GoPro battery, leave that space open, and just plug in this battery pack right here that you're looking at.
And I'll tell you,
And then the
somebody
cord.
asked earlier about the three. I've got the Insta360 One RS, and I would also do the same thing. I would plug it in and run it down to my cigarette lighter, the AC plug. I would run it down to that. But I can tell you, even before I did that, if I ran this thing by itself, the battery, the Insta360 batteries, in my opinion, are damn good. That thing would run for a good 45 minutes.
But they'll get hot, they'll get cold. Yep.
Yep.
And you hate to be on this ride and it just stops recording, or it stops. We've all had that kind of fiasco happen where we thought we had footage and we didn't.
Yep.
So in order to eliminate that, I just again use an external battery pack and plug it directly into the GoPro 360 on both on Mrs. Buffalo's bike. Same thing. I don't have a battery pack. I just throw it in her little her bags and run a cord out, and we're good all day. I think this particular day I think we did, I don't know how many, 3 or 4 rides that day.
Earlier, OJ.
So that's basically how you edit 360 footage. It's
Okay.
It's pretty. It's not really as intimidating. You can't screw it up because, again, you can delete these things, or you can just completely.
Yeah, Insta360 has the editing app.
You could do it.
You can just
you can sit there and play with it all day. Yeah.
Okay.
Until you like it, but I think the mistake some people think is they have to use all the footage, and you don't.
Right.
That's
So
the 360 has always been my like secondary kind of footage, where I want to get kind of the cool action stuff that's going on.
So now that you have these little clips, how would you put it into your main footage?
So once you're done doing this and you got all your little, marking spots of where the transitions are happening, you go to export, and you basically just hit export. 1080p, everything's set up already for me. Most of them come this way. There's tutorials on how to set up your stuff, and then you basically hit next. I'm not going to hit
this
next.
entirely
Start
depends.
downloading.
And Ryan will probably tell you this as well. This part here also is experimentation, where you export it and then you're going to want to play it again to make sure and see if it's
Yep.
what you liked out of it.
And then you send it to wherever your file's at. In my case, I would hit next and send it to. Usually, I'll send it to my desktop because it'll just show up on my desktop. Then I can move it into a folder. Again, just a simple way to do it. Not going to do that here. I already have it downloaded for you guys, so we could jump to that.
Thank you.
So here is, and I still have my original footage without
Cool.
without
So
messing with it.
It's a separate video entirely.
Yeah, it created this footage right here. Once I was done, actually, I took some time to edit this. So this is what the edited version. Once you've exported it and sent it, this is the footage. And you can see it's now about 8 minutes long. The original footage was probably, I think it was like 10 or 12 minutes long.
Okay.
So now I can't do nothing. Right? I'm moving my mouse. It's not spinning. It's a GoPro 8 footage at this point.
Nice.
And that's kind of what it would look like once it's been downloaded. And the conversion, once you export it, it doesn't take a real long time. Again, if you have the computer and the capacity, it's going to make it quicker. If you have tons of video footage on your hard drive on the laptop, it's going to slow it down. So I recommend, again, the best gaming computer you can afford and the biggest external driver you can find, and you won't have any problems. So that is the footage right there.
Nice.
Because this also goes back to, I mean, to what, now we're at a point where most of us would be familiar with, as far as now you're pulling it, and this is where you're either separating audio or you're putting tracks or whatever. I'll let you, I'm not going to steal the thunder of you talking to that. I'm just saying, if y'all can imagine, what we're seeing here, and then picture Full Throttle Hog's editing software with what we just watched today, and all the dadgum video lines and music track lines and voiceover lines that he had in his editing software is probably going crazy.
Yeah, I can't imagine what operating systems he's running. Probably 3 or 4 big old towers. But so there's the footage. There's the stuff I use. If you want to go into Premiere Pro, I can jump in there and show you how that becomes a video.
Yes, please. Just trying to catch up with the chat.
Yeah, everybody see that? It's basically Premiere Pro. What you do is you go in, create a new project. It's going to load a bunch of stuff I have in my hard drive. It would be this demo one. You would think I'd click on it and it'd be good. But basically, if in Premiere Pro, if I hit this and hit create, it's going to take all that footage and create its own damn video. And it won't make any sense. If you got like one video in music and it's kind of already set, you can do that and it'll create it, and then you can just go through and watch it and edit it and do your transitions. But because we have so many pieces that, this operating system's not going to know what I want first. So basically I just go from here. I don't click anything. I hit create. I hit replace, and it takes me to my work spot.
Patrick, you just nailed it. Actually, this looks like it'd be pretty easy once you get used to it. Make several clips to add to your folder for the video you're going to edit, then edit as usual. and I will chime in for Jogo's question earlier as far as simple hacks. If those of you that have military time, one phrase we used to say was slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And so it's repetition, repetition, and you get your rotary out can test that with his. It's getting a system down, and once you have that system down, it's muscle memory.
When I first started this, it would take me 2-3 days to create a video. It was crazy. Now I could get to this point and create my video, depending on how long it is, in less than an hour, because I did all that back stuff ahead of time. I picked my music. I picked, I already have preset intros, outros already done. I have the footage I want to use. It's named, so when I download it, so I'll come here. So this is my workstation. This is the one I like to use. I'll go to my browser, go to all my files, go to my demo file, and there's everything I need. So at this point, I basically go in, I'll get my intro, and there's my intro. You just basically drag it, drop it. And then I'll go into some of the footage, and this is where you'll edit your footage. I didn't have to edit this because it's my intro. It's already set. It's already in there. I don't have to shorten it, change anything. So it's in there, right? Here's the video. Here's the audio. If you didn't want audio, I'll show you how to get rid of your audio on a video, if anybody's interested in that. So I'm gonna go into this footage here, and
Buffalo, I think I speak also for everybody in the live chat and with what Des says. You go ahead with whatever you normally do. We're watching all of it. We're taking it all in. So do it like you normally would, please.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So this is the footage from Mrs. Buffalo's bike. So I want to use some of that. I love the sound of that bike. So say I just want to use that. So these are your cuts. So that's my cut right there. That's the rest of this isn't going to be used in the video. I can keep filming. And maybe I want to catch a little bit of that turn. And that's the piece I have right there. And for demo sakes, that's all I'm going to pull. And then I'll send that right here, put that right there. And then you have your audio effects, audio transitions, video transitions, video. So you'll click on that. This is where you pick your transitions. Page pill, you've seen some of that on my videos where the video kind of transitions pages. You just pick one of these that you want. I'll do this one, and you just put it right there, and it'll do the transition for you. So you can go, and you can play it as you're going. Let's see. And then there's a transition. I don't know if you saw that or not. It's kind of loud, sorry. So there's the first piece, and then I want to take this. This is my 360 converted video. And again, I may not use all of it. I know I want this, right? And you can chop this up however you want. So I can take this. Keep in mind, I've seen this footage 10 times already, right? By the time I get to this point, so I kind of know, where I want to stop it. So I'll just kind of fast forward. I'm like, I already know what I want, and that's the part I want right there. And then I'll put my out, and then
I love
drag
that
that,
view of the pigtail. That's awesome.
drag that right there. And then if I want to, if there's another piece in here, I can clear these out. So basically, you can just get rid of it by clicking on it, and then I can keep filming. Get to the other pigtail, wherever that's at, right there. Maybe I want that, so I'm going to change that to there. So you could take virtually, 6 or 7 little clips out of this video and use it. So again, you never destroy nothing.
Right.
I'll just take 30 seconds of that last bit of exhaust I heard. Damn, that was sweet sounding.
Remind us again which editing software you're using.
It's Premiere Pro.
Thank you.
Adobe. It's an Adobe product.
Thank you.
So if you're joining us late, El Buffalo just said he's using Adobe Premiere Pro for his editing software, and the camera he's finished showing you editing so far is the GoPro Max, GoPro Hero Max, excuse me, I think is what it's called.
Yeah. So here's the other piece I want to use. So I'll shrink this down so I can get to the share button's in my way, so I can't. So I'll bring it over here, and this is where you get it and drag it down, put it there, and then again you want your transitions, right? So we could do famous. We'll do a page peel right there, and then so it's just you go in here and play. You know what I mean? You can't screw anything up. That's how I learned. That's what I kind of did, is just came in here and played, and you really can't mess up your we'll do a pinwheel there. You really can't mess up your original footage unless you accidentally delete it, and then I got to see if I can.
But you would still have the original footage in that other file. So
yeah, I got to move this over so I can. Oh, I don't do that. What do we do there?
it's a video of the video. It's a video of the workshop. That's pretty cool.
I'm trying to get to my little transition button here. Can't grab it. There. No, you sucker. Okay, there it is. So this will shorten it. Then I can go to the original, and then I got a picture here. So if I want to throw a picture in there, we can throw that picture right there.
I'm trying to. Pardon me. I'm trying to coordinate a question that Bob Nelson had, and OJ. Bob Nelson is asking on YouTube, and OJ is answering on Facebook. So, pardon me 1 second. OJ says, "Tell Bob Nelson on YouTube that no editors can work with 360 format footage and regular GoPro footage together. 360 footage has to be turned into flat video for an video editor to process it."
Right. So
yeah, I thought there was an editing software that lets you do that.
I was going to
could be like DaVinci Resolve or something.
There's a caveat to that. You're absolutely right, El Buffalo. Road Reality, I was expecting him to chime in, but then I realized as Des said, that OJ is typing that from Facebook, so they can't see the Facebook comments on YouTube unless we highlight them. And we're not, as we already said, we're not highlighting comments for this one because we don't want to take away from the presentation that Buffalo is doing. So, yeah, OJ Editor, to a point, Road Reality can correct us as far as DaVinci Resolve goes, but I think that DR has a what's that called? A patch or an insert or some kind of a, now the technical word is lost on me right now, but you can add in a software or something to DR that will allow it to edit I don't know if it's brand regardless, whether it matters of, plugin, there it's called, where you can edit. Now, I don't know, Road Reality, you can answer this. But you said that you still have to export from GoPro app to MP4 format. Is that regardless of the brand, Road Reality? Does that mean you can do Insta360 or GoPro? The 360 footage brand does not matter. Is that correct, or is that a piece?
He's saying that he has videos on his channel that show this, and it has to be exported from GoPro app to an MP4 format.
Right. Okay.
It should take GoPro and Insta footage,
which is basically what we just did.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, OJ, you're right. Yeah, but it does output it to flat footage. Yes, you cannot. I have not seen any software yet without putting a plugin in there that you can just take 360 footage and plug it in and then put flat regular action camera footage side by side with it and edit it simultaneously together without using some kind of a plug-in on the 360 to flatten it out.
Yeah. So again, I got some relive footage that I want to use. So we take that. Thanks, Des.
You're welcome.
And again, and you'll see it. It's got some music to it, and I'll show you how to take it out because that's not my vibe.
I give tours, by the way.
Yeah, so maybe we'll stop it there, right? So again, I edit it. It's done. It's cut. That's the piece I want to use. Throw it in there. Now, if I don't want this music, I'll just drag it down a couple of blocks and it'll still play it. But if I go to its thing, I can mute it and it's done. So now when that plays, there's no music there. And then I can, at that point, if I want to throw in a picture there, I could throw in a picture and then shorten this up again. And then there's my outro. And then my music, I'll usually, that's all at the end. Throw the music in. Look at that, almost fits perfect. Damn. That's pretty good. And sometimes the pictures won't fit right, and it's hard to put pictures in. I'm still learning how to do stuff with the pictures and get it to fit. But that would be the video, and here would be the end results. Now see, that's when you catch stuff, right? So obviously I put my music out in front of my intro. So you scoot the music over and then shrink it down to wherever it needs to be.
There you go.
And now you won't hear that craziness. It'll be simply intro. It's the only way I can get people to watch my videos.
It's like a secret premiere.
Y'all are forced to watch it now. But what that took all but what 15, 20 minutes. But there's a lot of prep behind it, right? There's a lot of picking your music, picking the vibe you want.
You have the best soundtrack stuff, man.
The feeling you want. I know you can barely hear me.
I keep on running around. Please tell me, what are you looking for?
Good Life Riders, that's, yeah, right on. We get that. We get you.
I don't know. So you're running to an alley. A narrow pierced me right through the heart. So I went down by the river, and I tried to tell you, 'cause it's all I can do. I keep on falling down. I keep on running around. Please tell me, what are you looking for?
OJ, I can still hear it, so that may not be on. That may be on you and only. Can everybody else still hear the audio of what he's sharing?
I don't know.
Nice.
And that's it. And then if I'm happy with it, if I miss a transition somewhere, this is when I would fix it. But if I'm happy with that, it's a whole whopping 3 minutes long, then I'd go to file. And I suggest you can program if you have Premiere Pro, you can set it to save every like 10, 15 minutes. So I always, before I go to download it, I always make sure I save it.
Yes.
Because I've gotten to this point and I lost it.
Poof, it's gone.
And you start all over. So you go at this point from here, saved it, export media. And then
I'm excited to go back.
It's gonna automatically want to send it to your OneDrive. I don't do OneDrive. I just send it to my desktop.
Or export it right to YouTube. Yeah.
Well, I like to watch it again.
Okay.
On my computer before I drop it,
and
then I can change it to.
Sorry, Sensor's asking, what do you aim for in terms of dB? I'm not sure. Is that decibels? Is that sound? Is that what you're asking, Sensor Pendants? Or is that just playing joker in the live chat? It might have been. So one thing also, El Buffalo, you could probably attest to this, folks, for editing software in general. You also got to be careful because a lot of softwares will also, when you first start loading it, they'll ask you if you want to. It's kind of that backup thing he's talking about, but it's also asking if you want to do proxy. And if you do proxy, which is not a bad thing for the software for editing because it helps it from the glitching and it helps it from freezing up while you're editing. But the problem is it doesn't clear out that proxy stuff after you're done. So you have to make sure you find that file in your computer and clear out that proxy, because that will save up space and save it up and save it up and save it up.
Yeah,
and you'll have a
it'll go into your C drive, and
right.
I have to clear that out every once in a while. And the way I always remember to do it is, so once you get to this point, I've sent it to my desktop. I'm going to hit export, and it'll go to my desktop. But you can automatically share it direct to YouTube, to wherever programs you're using. But then I don't have a copy. It's sent to YouTube. So I hit export.
That's a great point.
You'll see how quickly it'll go to my desktop. And then I have the full video. Then I can watch it on my desktop, make sure,
So
may sound good.
Goofy
May
Bastard,
sound good
us a
on.
little late there. Sorry, El Buffalo. El Buffalo's what he showed beforehand was editing the 360 software, editing the 360 footage before adding it to his actual overall clip or the content he's creating. So the one consensus amongst anybody will tell you, if you're going to use a 360 camera, yes, you are pretty much doubling your editing time, because you're having to edit that 360 footage, but as a part of the overall content you're creating. But there's trade-offs. So you have to, as a content creator, you have to decide yourself whether a 360 camera is what you want to do. Me personally, I like it, if for no other reason, because it frees up my helmet from having a camera right in front of my helmet, right on my head. That gives you that way you're catching everything. You're not having to turn your head left and right. Oh crap, I missed that. I didn't see that buffalo I drove past or whatever. So just food for thought.
Yeah, just to go back to Toby's point. So it's already downloaded. It's on my desktop. Didn't take but a couple minutes. But you can go back home. Now I have this in here. And that'll stay there until I clear it out. So the way you clear that stuff out is you click on it. Not what I want. Let's get out of here completely. So you'll see it there. So basically, in order to find it on your C drive, you right click on that video. And you just follow the path,
right?
Which is basically, you go to your C drive, hit user, look, DL, OneDrive, Documents, Adobe, and you get in there, you delete it, and it's gone, and it's not filling up your C drive.
So Rogueland, Andy, what we're talking about is, it doesn't matter what software you use, even the Insta360 editing software on a tablet, on a laptop, anywhere, when it opens up and it starts editing, it will, at one point, it probably asked you, do you want to create a proxy for editing? It speeds up the process when you're working it. Maybe you didn't check it. I don't know. I wasn't there, but it doesn't matter what device you're using, it will create a proxy. It's basically a cache of your footage, kind of a backup. I don't have the technical jargon to describe it, but every device that edits software, edits footage like that, will do that. So, food for thought.
So to kind of cap this off, there's the video right there. And, I can click it, watch it, whatever.
So do me a favor.
Usually what I'll do at that point.
Do us a favor, Buffalo. Can you like right click or highlight or move the icon over the video so we can see what the file size of it is?
Can you see that?
It looks like 150 something megabytes, maybe
192.
192 megabytes.
Yep.
Okay. And then what's the file size, if you would show us in your pre-made folder there, of the 360 video unedited?
I don't know. Let's see. 3.73 gigabytes.
And that was for like 12 minutes, you said?
I think it was like 12 minutes. So that's 3.7 gigabytes. The cleaned out version is 3.56 gigabytes. So it yeah. I don't know computer math, but it's less than what it was.
Right.
So basically at that point, then I get this thing, send it over here. So it's in my external drive, and then delete that one, and then from there I'll download it to YouTube. So this, I know we went through it real fast, but I think the idea was to show you that it's really not that hard. So if you're
muted,
interested, go in there, play around with it. You can't screw it up. And just learn it that way. That's how I did. Nobody taught me. I didn't watch any YouTube show me how to process 360. I just went in there and played around and screwed it up. But again, I still have the original footage, so you can't really mess it up. But I think the idea behind this was not to teach you how to edit 360 and put it into a video, but just to kind of show everyone that it's not as intimidating as most people try to make it think. It is time consuming, but it's not intimidating. Anybody can do it. It's definitely adding one step to your editing process. That's it.
Absolutely.
Got it. Appreciate it. Definitely took some of the leeriness away, right? Because I think people are leery about it that that have not yet edited or don't have a 360 camera, and they're like, oh, I don't know. But with your Max, and you did it right there on Premiere Pro, and though you can do it on the GoPro app, right? Whether it be on the phone or on the computer, you can edit it there and then import it into whatever editing software you are using. Is that correct?
That's correct. And again, if you have a slower computer that struggles with regular GoPro footage, you're going to struggle with 360 footage. It's going to freeze up, it's going to lock up, and you're going to lose. You're going to lose all that work you worked on. I learned that, and I went looking for a laptop, and my son-in-law's a computer whiz. I was going to get him to build me a computer, and he's like, "Man, all you need is just a gaming computer, biggest one you can find."
How long have you had that laptop?
This laptop, a couple of years now.
Would you mind sharing the brand for those are the listening audience?
I can try to.
So
I can drag it out. I got screens on my deal, so they come out.
Fancy.
Okay. I can pull it out, but
it's a tower. So it's CPU. So also,
no, it's just a regular laptop.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a gaming It's just a laptop. You can go on Amazon and look up gaming laptops, and there's 1,000 of them that pop up.
Right.
It's all about the RAM. Yep.
And that's what the gaming laptops produce, is a ton of, because think about it, you're playing a video game, and all that data and footage and pixels and everything's going on in a game. It's got to be able to run that. So
right.
You're probably looking for at least, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but you're probably looking for at least like something with at least 30, especially with it growing the way it is, the softwares and stuff. You're probably looking at least 32 gigs of RAM for RAM itself, base minimum.
The biggest you can find that's within your price range, Yeah,
Right.
that may be the one you want, and then an external hard drive, just so you're not filling your laptop with tons of footage. And then, like Toby said, clear out that C drive every once in a while,
Right.
and you're good to go.
And like we said at the beginning, some people use a tablet solely
Yeah.
for the 360 footage.
Now, I will also caveat to add on to this. There's 3 comments that really stand out at the end here. Bob makes it great when practice, practice, practice. But it also goes to say with Andy making it's not intimidating to him, it's fun. Well, Andy, and I'm not knocking you, Andy. I get it. Not everybody tackles mechanical and all that kind of stuff the way I've seen you tackle it. But at the same time, your comment combined with OJ Utter, it's time consuming, and that's the biggest piece with 360 footage. But it goes back to what Bob says. It's practice. It's getting to know a system, or getting yourself into a workflow that you're used to that you can do. And then it's just a matter of having the right software, or the software you're comfortable with, and the laptop or the computer that has the capability to handle what it is you're trying to do. Because I think even Road Reality will tell you DaVinci Resolve, it has a learning curve. You got Adobe Premiere Pro, you got Filmora, you've got so many different out there. We've had workshops on the different softwares, but they all come down to your comfortability. So
yeah, I think, and for me, Premiere Pro, I used to use actually I don't even remember what it was called. It was like WinMax or WinMovie. It was a Windows version. It's like what came with the computer, and that was like the worst editing software ever. And
Windows
I went to Premiere Pro, and it looked really intimidating until I got in there and started messing around with it. And I did do some YouTube tutorials just to kind of, basic how do you edit, where do you get your transitions from, where do you all that kind of stuff. And it's really, I agree, it's fun.
Right.
You're creating, right? You're creating this thing that you want people to feel what you felt when you're on that ride or whatever. That's what I like. I think
your vision.
I think most creators feel that way. So the process is fun. It's like I'm a hunter too, right? I love hunting, I love tracking, I love shooting an animal, but I enjoy getting that meat and processing it myself and freezing it and doing that stuff. So it's the whole process, right? I enjoy the whole thing. Same thing with creating content. It's the whole process from picking a ride that you really want to film, and that's why I like the 360, because I can just turn it on and not think about the shots.
Right.
Everybody, you hear how many content creators you hear all the time. I'm tired of producing videos because I can't enjoy my ride. Right? I mean, we hear that all the time. I felt that until I got the 360, and I just plug it in, turn it on, and go. And whatever happens, happens. And if I'm able to use that footage, good. If not, I delete it.
That's exactly what Robo just said.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. Do you guys have
anybody have any final questions or anything? Sorry, guys. Go ahead.
I hope it was helpful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good.
Appreciate you being here and helping us out with that and showing us. And I'm sure
we're gonna try to figure it out. I'm gonna try to see if we can get some of this footage and I'll put it on my page for some of those people that maybe got on later. They can watch it and see what we were all talking about at the beginning. So
yes,
it'll be available on my page at some point.
Nice. I love it.
And it will also be available where?
In our Support Bikers Content Creators group.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it stays there forever, right?
It does.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So there you go.
More incentive if you want to go get in there and join that group.
That is true. That is true. All right.
You're welcome.
I don't think we have any more questions.
Buffalo. So as we ask everybody in every workshop before we close out, brand new person jumping into motovlogging and actually starts out with a 360 camera. What would you tell your younger self if you were just starting out? What would you tell that new biker, that new motovlogger that you know now that you didn't know then, as far as 360 editing and a camera?
You know, there's the background I had with the GoPro 8 and editing that stuff certainly helped transition to the 360 because it's all the same kind of stuff. So I would go with not maybe jumping into a 360 right away. Is go with your straight, you know, footage and get a couple cameras, get, you know, this view and that view, whatever views you want, and then buy one and then just start using little bits and pieces of it. Once they do get the 360, so all they have to do is edit just this little part. They're like, hey, I want to edit that part when I'm going through that tunnel. Find that piece, edit that, and call it good, and take bits and pieces off that 360, and not make that your entire footage. That'd be my advice.
Got it.
It's supplemental.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So aside from your YouTube channel, where else can folks find you?
I am. Where in the hell am I? Facebook, obviously.
TikTok.
I'm on TikTok. Love TikTok.
Yeah, you do.
I'm on Facebook, Instagram. It's all Al Buffalo rides. Not too hard to find. Just opened up a Thread account, which is part of Instagram. I don't know what the hell that's about, but I'm there. And I'm on X as well. And really, I use those to promote mainly the YouTube channel. I don't put a lot of separate content in there. It's really just advertising for me.
But your TikTok videos are on point.
To go to my channel. Yeah.
But your TikTok videos are on point.
Says the TikTok is strong in this one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Everybody's like, man, that's amazing editing you did on that. And I'm like, it's a template on TikTok.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So unless we're doing our closeout here, folks. If there's any other questions, if there are any other questions anybody has for Al Buffalo, please feel free to throw them in there. Otherwise, you can also ask the same questions or new questions in the Facebook group, and we'll make sure we get them answered in there. Yes. Aside from that, Al Buffalo, do you have any final comments you want to throw out there? Anything else to say?
Appreciate the time. I'm not by far an expert in any of this, but I appreciate you guys thinking there's some value in this. And hopefully there was. I love this. I enjoy it. I love my supporters, my subscribers, and so keep watching. We got a whole new year. We'll be doing a Stubborn American Rally. We'll be doing Sturgis, of course. And the rest is open at this point. So we got those two nailed down anyway. But if you see me, say hi. I know I look pissed off all the time, but I'm really I'm not. Just come up and say hi, and I'd love to meet you. Love y'all. God bless everybody.
Oh my God.